Thank you. Yeah, please get your seat, and photographers, take your photos as fast as you can as guests settle down, and then we'll get started. Yes. All right. Okay. Members of the press, photographers, thank you so much. We can now get started. Thank you, photographers. Thank you for what you're doing, but now we need to settle down and get started. Thank you. C'est Sophie, merci beaucoup. Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's get started. Photographers, if you can withdraw from the front line, I'll appreciate. Okay, let's settle down, guys. Please, media guys, let's settle down. Let's settle down. If you're at the back, please get seated so that we can get started, and let's reduce our movement. And let's be all eyes and ears to what is going to happen here, because it's a historic day. So let me start by saying a very happy new year to you all. Bonne année à tous. Good morning. Is it really a happy morning? Bonjour à tous. Let me try another one. Wassalamu alaikum. Shukran. Ladies and gentlemen, this is really a historic day. Let me start by recognizing Honorable Nyale Kaba, Minister for Economy, Planning and Development, and the African Development Bank Group Governor for the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, our host country. We have His Excellency Dr. C.D. Oldtam, the President of the African Development Bank Group. His Excellency Abdallah Al-Musabi, President of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Badea. His Excellency Fawz Youssef Al-Hunaif, Director General of the Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development. His Excellency Hammam bin Nasser bin Juraidi, Executive Director, Arab Gulf Program for Development. His Excellency Walid Al-Bahar, Acting Director General of Kuwait Fund for Economic Development. His Excellency Abdul Hamid Al-Khalifa, President of the OPEC Fund for International Development. His Excellency Sultan Al-Mashad, CEO of the Saudi Fund for Development. His Excellency Dr. Rami Ahmad, Vice President of Operations for the Islamic Development Bank, representing His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Al-Jazair, President of the Islamic Development Bank Group. And His Excellency Rashid Al-Khabi, Acting Director General of the Abu Dhabi Fund, representing His Excellency Mohammed Saif Al-Suwaidi. Let me recognize members of the diplomatic corps based here in Abidjan, executive directors of the African Development Bank Group, senior management and staff of the Arab Coordination Group's members, and the African Development Bank Group. You're all most welcome. A big round of applause to you as well. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this historic day. For the first time, the heads of the 10 institutions that make up the Arab Coordination Group are together visiting Cote d'Ivoire. It is the first time they are visiting the African Development Bank. The Arab Coordination Group, in short ACG, established in 1975, is celebrating its golden jubilee and doing so right here in Africa, in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. We are talking about one of the largest donor groups in the world, and since inception in 1975, the Arab Coordination Group has invested about $300 billion in high impact projects across Africa and across the world. The group has provided more than 13,000 projects to over 160 countries worldwide. And this across various sectors, including education, healthcare, agriculture and livestock, water and sanitation, transport, energy, private sector, trade, finance, housing, and small, medium enterprises. So let me guide you through today's plenary session, which is being conducted in 3 languages, as I said. You've got English, we've got French and Arabic, and we've got interpretation for that as well. And also this session is being covered by the media. It's being transmitted live across social media and other platforms. In addition to nearly more than 300 delegates in this room, we have hundreds more who are joining us virtually, that's via Zoom link. So we'll soon be receiving the opening statement from the African Development Bank Group's president, Dr. Oldham, and then we'll share with you a video about the Arab Coordination Group, followed by remarks from all the representatives of the ACG. This will be followed by a video from the African Development Bank. I will then, at that point, after that, invite our honorable guest, the Minister, Nyale Kaba, to give us the keynote speech. And when the Minister finishes the speech, she will remain on stage with me so that we can be joined by representatives of the ACG Group and the President of the African Development Bank to announce the declaration, the joint declaration between the Arab Coordination Group and the African Development Bank. So I'll be able to give you more details as we go along. My name is Solomon Mugera, the Director of Communications and External Relations for the African Development Bank. And it's an honor to be your host. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, help me with a round of applause to invite to the stage Dr. Sidi Oldham, President of the African Development Bank, to give us the opening statement. Mr. President.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على نبينا Kaba, Minister de l'Économie.
Your Excellency, Ms. Nyale Kaba, Minister of the Economy, Planning and Development, and Governor of the African Development Bank for the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire. Your Excellency, Abdallah Mousaibe, President of the Arabic Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Badeya. The President of the OPEC Fund, Dr. Khalifa, the Director General of the Arabic Fund for Economic and Social Development, Your Excellency, Aman Nasser, Executive Director of the Arab Gulf Act Fund, Your Excellency Walid Bahab, Director General of the Kuwait Fund for Economic Development, Your Excellency, the Director of the Saudi Fund for Development, Dr. Rami Ahmed, Vice Chair of the Islamic Development Bank Group, representing His Excellency, the President of the Islamic Development Bank Group, Mr. Rashid Mohammed Al-Wakabi, Deputy Director General of the Abu Dhabi Development Fund, representing His Excellency Mohammed Saeed Suwaidi, Director General of the Abu Dhabi Development Fund. members of the diplomatic corps, executive directors of the African Development Bank Group, dear colleagues, heads of African institutions, representatives of the private sector, members of senior management of the African Development Bank Group, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are playing host to the heads of the Arab Coordination Group financial institutions. I would start with some words in Arabic.
تغمرني السعادة
I am exceedingly joyed and proud to welcome you today in Abidjan for this first of its kind consultation between the Arab Consultation Group and the African Development Bank Group. It is my pleasure to extend my very warm thanks as well as my distinct gratitude for your willingness to travel along as well as your willingness to come despite a very busy early start. This, in fact, clearly reflects your commitment to development across the world as well as your long-standing support to the African continent. So welcome to you, welcome and a very enjoyable stay to you in Côte d'Ivoire.
Mesdames et messieurs, chers
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, I am greatly honored and delighted to wish you Happy New Year 2026, but also to welcome you to Abidjan for this high-level consultation meeting between the Arab Coordination Group and the African Development Bank Group. I am even more delighted to host the members of the Arab Coordination Group, heads of institutions, whom I'm grateful for their presence here in Abidjan. Dear colleagues, heads of Arab GFIs, your presence here is indeed historic. It is the first of its kind that the heads of Arab GFIs meet in Abidjan, head on seats of the African Development Bank Group, thereby showing a strong signal of partnership, trust, and shared ambition. Also, allow me to extend my warm gratitude and acknowledgement to our host country, the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire. I would like to extend to the government of Côte d'Ivoire and the Ivorian people our heartfelt thanks for their support and their warm hospitality. Madam Minister, please extend our gratitude to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, Alassane Ouattara.
La Côte d'Ivoire n'est pas seulement
Côte d'Ivoire is not just the host country of the African Development Bank Group. It is a clear proof of Africa's economic robustness and dynamic structure, as well as reforms. And so today's meeting is symbolic because the Arab Coordination Group is marking its 50th anniversary, 50 years of joint action, 50 years of solidarity, 50 years of constant commitment for development in Africa, but also the Global South. On behalf of the African Development Bank Group, I would like to extend my warm congratulations to all member institutions of the Arab Coordination Group for this historic milestone. This Golden Jubilee is not just an anniversary. It is proof of the sustainability, relevance, and capacity of the group's mission. Over 5 decades, the Arab Coordination Group has been working on this with countries through smooth moments but also crisis times by stepping up infrastructure, ensuring food security, providing basic services, and investing in human capital. Concretely, this solidarity is reflected through more than 5,000 projects for development in Africa, covering energy, transport, water, agriculture, health, but also education. These investments have helped to construct resistant systems, to connect markets, and to ensure resilience through low-income situations, fragile contexts, but also through crisis, and ensuring that long-term financing remains possible. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the key place which Africa occupies in the assistance provided by the Arab development by Arab states is not just random. It is based on solid and historic links, geographical links, as well as cultural links, and so they are closely intertwined. Indeed, demographic data reveals that 60% of the population of members of the Arab League are based in Africa. And so today, Africa and the Arab world share close ties. And so Africa is the youngest continent in the world with an average of 19 years old, while the Arab world also has a huge youth population. And so this close demographic ensures that cooperation with African states is not just an option, but a necessity if we hope to create jobs, to develop skills, to improve access to energy and basic services, so as to create better economic opportunities to match this demography, to ensure that it is profitable. Under this context, the partnership between the African Development Bank Group and the Arab Coordination Group, which have long-standing ties, ensure that these ambitions work towards achieving the same goals. And so we need to ensure that we carry out long-term investments as well as resource-based development. The scope of the Arab Coordination Group's commitments is quite revealing. At the end of 2024, in Africa, the contributions of the ACG were above $154 billion. Beyond these figures, we had several school facilities, health facilities, as well as roads which opened up regions. We had energy systems, electric systems, which provided lights to households, which provided jobs and created dignity. In Côte d'Ivoire, the funding of the Arabic Coordination Group supported key infrastructure in infrastructure, energy, social sector, and supported the country's growth and also its role at regional level. And so it is just necessary that this coordination meeting holds here in Abidjan, in a country which reveals the impact of this existing cooperation and hope for a renewed partnership for the future. Nonetheless, Your Excellencies, we know very well that the challenges and opportunities have evolved in Africa. The continent is facing a development financing gap which is quite wide, caused by continuous external shocks, the democratic dividends, and the need for industrialization and creating added value. Similarly, Africa remains one of the most promising areas of growth worldwide, with its youth and enterprising population, which keeps on growing. That said, we can't focus on the status quo. And so fragmented cooperation on a project-by-project basis can no longer match the current needs. What is necessary now is a more structured partnership which is quite strategic and which serves to mobilize public and private capital at a wide scale, which helps share risk in an intelligent way and ensure long-term financing on Africa's development priorities. This is the reason why we are meeting here today.
This high-level consultation marks a deliberate shift from cooperation to co-investment, from parallel efforts to coordinated impact, and from ad hoc transaction to programmatic engagement and strategic alignment. It is also why today's meeting will culminate in the adoption of a joint declaration between the Arab Coordination Group and the African Development Bank Group. This joint declaration is a statement of shared intent and practical direction. It anchors our partnership around a clear set of principles: country ownership, complementarity, impact, and mutual trust. It focuses our cooperation on priority areas where joint action can deliver scale, co-financing of operation, capital mobilization and financial architecture, private sector development and job creation, and knowledge and institutional cooperation. For the African Development Bank Group, this partnership is also central to our broader agenda to strengthen Africa's financial sovereignty and to mobilize capital more effectively through a new African financial architecture, NAFA, one that brings together development finance institutions, guarantees, insurers, capital market, and private investors around shared platforms and pipelines. The Arab Coordination Group, with its long-term capital, counter-cyclical capacity, and development expertise, is a natural and indispensable partner in this effort. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, what makes this moment truly historic is not only the jubilee we celebrate or the declaration we adopt, but the opportunity before us to transform 50 years of solidarity into a new era of scale, speed, and impact. To move from doing more to doing more together and doing it better. Let this meeting in Abidjan be remembered as a turning point when Africa and the Arab world choose to deepen an already strong partnership, not out of nostalgia for the past, but out of responsibility for the future. Once again, I thank the heads of the Arab Coordination Group institution for their presence. You, dear colleagues, your leadership and your enduring commitment to Africa are really very much appreciated. Once again, thank you to all of you. I thank the government and people of Cote d'Ivoire for hosting us, and I look forward to a candid, forward-looking and action-oriented dialogue today. I wish us all a successful and impactful consultation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sidi Olta, President of the African Development Bank Group. Let's give him another round of applause. And the media, and the colleagues at the media in the back room, please, let's get the video of the Arab Coordination Group ready to be shown. Are we ready?
As humanity continues to navigate multifaceted challenges, from ecological and climate threats to persistent man-made conflicts, the call to join efforts and bridge the sustainable development gap has never been greater. For over half a century, the Arab Coordination Group, ACG, has been delivering billions of US dollars in impactful projects where they are needed most, across continents, from building climate-resilient farms and advancing transformative agriculture initiatives to launching green energy and water infrastructure developments, to financing transport and healthcare projects, to restoring schools and supporting innovative financing schemes. Through a strategic alliance of 10 national, regional, and international institutions, the ACG has fostered collaboration across the intercontinental development ecosystem, collectively providing over $300 billion US to uplift lives through economic and social development. As one of the largest donor groups' combined financial resources, the ACG
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, or is it me being on stage not hearing the sound? I just want to get some indication from the back that all is okay, we can see the video properly. Can I get some signal? Okay, it's not going to work right now. We're going to rectify this. It's important that you get the content right. It's a very powerful video, so we'll rectify the mistake and show it again as we go along. So at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, allow me and to help me to welcome to stage His Excellency Abdallah Al-Musaibi, President of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, that's BADEA, to deliver his speech. Welcome.
Name of God, most merciful, most benevolent. Peace and blessings be on his prophet, his kith and kin. Excellency, President of the African Development Bank Group, Excellency, Madam Minister of Economy and Planning of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, Excellencies, heads of ACG institutions, Distinguished Secretary General of the ACG, dear guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First and foremost, it is my great pleasure to address you, Mr. President of the AfDB, in my own behalf as well as on behalf of BADEA, to thank you for the kind invitation and the very warm welcome extended to us here in Abidjan. This high-level consultation is of pivotal and exceptional importance. This is the first time that the heads of ACG institutions meet with the AfDB, thanks to your kind invitation. This is a turning point in consolidating the historic cooperation between ACG and the AfDB. And of course, this comes as a continuity for you, given your past experience and your keen knowledge of the financial systems. And this is also a strategic phase, or ushers in a strategic phase of greater coordination and cooperation between our institutions. This is an unprecedented event, but is also of strategic importance as it comes at a time of a huge need in Africa, estimated at $400 billion yearly. And this, of course, does not cover all of the ambitions that it calls on us to enhance our cooperation and coordination between all partner institutions. This meeting today is a great opportunity to develop coordination between our institutions and to better deliver to beneficiary countries. The world is witnessing increased debts and changes to markets, climate issues, growing debt gaps, and therefore our joint responsibility is all the greater. Against this backdrop, the coordination group, thanks to its members, has been able to demonstrate key initiatives in the past few years, some $10 billion in infrastructure, $24 billion in climate change support to Africa initiative, $50 billion fighting desertification, $10 billion, as well as other initiatives. Many of these initiatives have consolidated the position and role of the ACG, as well as our shared commitment to achieve sustainable development across the world, given the very complex and global challenges we face. The BADEA, as an institution which, by its own inception, has always fostered coordination between Africa and the Arab region, we have played a role in fostering cooperation, as well as with closer ties with the AfDB, of course, in light and with full respect of all of the specificities of the mandates and missions of the various coordination institutions. The vision set out by the president, and particularly through the new architecture, the new African architecture, will provide a framework for the creation of joint value chains, provide more access to private capital to ensure more financial sovereignty across the continent in the long term. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is an important opportunity to both foster cooperation between Africa and the Arab world, which is based on trust, strategic alignment, as well as our commitment to sustainable development. The joint declaration that will be signed today will be a clear step in this framework and along this path of shared responsibility serving the development of Africa. My institution, in line with its 2020-2030 roadmap, is fully committed to working with the African Development Bank and supporting its pivotal role in development across Africa. Lastly, the Arab Monetary or the fund has also supported or recently announced its support to the ADF 17 replenishment process held in lending. We will be dedicating $8 billion to co-financing with the African Development Bank between 2026 and 2028, rather. This to support sub-Saharan African countries. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Once again, a very big thank you to His Excellency Abdallah Al-Musaibi, President of Badea. Ladies and gentlemen, you allow me to call the next speaker. I know the video is now ready, but we'll play it along the line. So help me to invite to the stage His Excellency Fawz Yusuf Al-Hunaif, Director General, Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development. Please welcome.
In the name of God, most merciful, most benevolent, Excellency, Madam Minister, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, it's a great pleasure and honor for me to kick off my statement by extending my very warm thanks to the Honorable Minister as well as the President of the AfDB for the kind invitation and very warm welcome. This is an event aimed at fostering partnership. We see also that the host country is very invested in ensuring that development serves populations. It's a great honor for me to take part in this opening ceremony of the high-level consultation meeting. This is a historic opportunity for us as the ACG and African Development Bank to come together. This also reflects the depth of solidarity and ties between the Arab world and Africa. This is a meeting that it does not come within the context of a conventional coordination, but rather a translation of shared determination to work on developing a strategic and more impactful change capable of unleashing the potential and translating it into impact from a social and economic perspective at an unprecedented scale in the African continent. And this is why the African Fund for Economic and Social Development works through the ACG to do its utmost in supporting development in Arab and African countries. There is alignment between our potential, and there is a genuine capacity to make a difference when it comes to infrastructure, food security, sustainable energies, as well as when it comes to private sector development and job creation. Since the creation of our fund in 1974 and up until 2020-25, our fund has has delivered some 400 loans to African countries, totaling 325 billion US dollars, in addition to 220 grants amounting $250 million, that is. This has enabled these countries to meet their financing needs and to implement their development plans and objectives. This, of course, is very much dovetails with the objectives of the ACG institution, reaching some $50 billion invested in support of our brotherly African nations and the African continent at large. So that it can play its pivotal role as a driver of growth and development in the future. This is why the Arab Fund has worked with the ACG by allocating $2 billion for the period 2026-2028 to fund projects in the in the Republic of Mauritania. These are projects aimed at ensuring measurable and impactful advances. We have also provided our support to other African countries in light with their priorities. Once again, in conclusion, I would like to reiterate my thanks to you, Madam Minister, as well as to His Excellency the President. Thank you for the kind invitation, warm welcome. And I would like to also express my full admiration and for the African Development Bank Group, for this is very much a starting point for a new phase of shared joint coordination and planning and ensuring better effectiveness of development operations, working with all of the relevant national authorities. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Let's give it to His Excellency Fawz Youssef Al Hunayf, Director General of the Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development. Is now with pleasure invite to the stage His Excellency Hamam bin Nasser bin Juraid, the Executive Director of the Arab Gulf Program for Development. You're welcome. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Excellency, Madam Minister, Excellency President Sidi Wildah, President of the African Development Bank Group, Excellencies, dear brothers, members and heads of the ACG, Excellencies, representatives of the government and people of Côte d'Ivoire. From the outset, I would like to extend my thanks and gratitude to you, as well as the African Development Bank, for the kind invitation and the very warm welcome. We would also like to extend our recognition to the government and people of Côte d'Ivoire for the very warm welcome and the excellent arrangements, which, of course, translate the history of this country and its importance in Africa. I'd also like to thank His Excellency, His Royal Highness Prince Atalal, and convey their full support to this excellent initiative by the African Development Bank. This is very much a strategic step towards fostering Arab-African cooperation. This invitation shares shared by you is a landmark, a turning point in our cooperation. And this is not only a matter of coordinating our financing priorities, but rather sharing, pooling our expertise, our success stories and objectives so as to deliver impact, a historic impact for Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, the Arab Ag Fund has been present from very early on, from the time of Prince Abdulaziz. May he rest in peace. So the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council, has also played a pivotal role in focusing on development and focusing on underprivileged populations. We have approved more than 320,000 projects in Africa, working with 100 partners nationally, locally, civil society, international organizations in sectors including women and youth, children, the disabled, the immigrant populations, response to disasters such as floods, etc. This testifies an early belief that building capable societies is underpinned by 5 key pillars: lifelong learning, financial sustainability, empowering women, supporting civil society, and early education. These are not only slogans; these are these are lessons that have been derived from our experience. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we very much hope and look forward to a joint declaration that will provide a framework for a large-scale and impactful delivery between our institutions and the African Development Bank to serve the populations of Africa. The dignity of humans, their right to work, to education, these are objectives that we can achieve thanks to the partnerships that we are talking about today, can build bridges between ambitions and reality, between the Gulf and Africa, a bridge that will be trodden by millions towards a path of greater prosperity and growth. Thank you.
Thank you. And once again, another round of applause, please, for His Excellency Hamam bin Nessa bin Juraidi. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on pretty well with our speeches, and I to really say a big thank you to our chief guests because they are really crispy and to the point in a very businessman-like manner, businesswoman-like manner. So thank you so much for that. Let's now bring in the next guest, His Excellency Walid Al-Bahar, the Acting Director General of the Kuwait Fund for Economic Development. You're welcome.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي الوزيرة، معالي رئيس مجموعة البنك الأفريقي للتنمية المحترم، السيدات والسادة، أود أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل لمجموعة البنك الأفريقي للتنمية على الدعوة الكريمة للمشاركة في الاجتماع التشاوري بين مجموعة التنسيق ومجموعة البنك الأفريقي. كما يسعدني أن أتواجد هنا في أبيجان.
I would like to express my gratitude to the Honorable Minister and President. This type of meeting
لنا الفرصة للتأمل وتبادل وجهات النظر بصراحة والنظر بصدق في كيفية العمل معا بفعالية أكبر في وقت تزداد فيه تحديات التنمية في جميع أنحاء أفريقيا تعقيدا وإلحاحا. بالنسبة للصندوق الكويتي للتنمية، لطالما كانت أفريقيا محورا أساسيا في مهامنا التنموية، فمنذ تأسيسنا في عام 1961 عملنا في جميع أنحاء القارة بتركيز واضح على نتائج التنمية طويلة الأجل وتعزيز الملكية الوطنية للدول. ويعود تعاونه مع مجموعة البنك الأفريقي للتنمية إلى عقود عديدة، وقد نما بشكل مطرد من خلال الخبرة المشتركة والثقة المتبادلة والتعاون العملي على أرض الواقع. وينعكس هذا الالتزام بالدعم المالي المستمر، حيث بلغ إجمالي مساهمة الصندوق الكويتي نيابة عن حكومة دولة الكويت في الموارد المالية لمجموعة البنك الأفريقي للتنمية حوالي 284 مليون دولار أمريكي. ويعد هذا تعبيرا واضحا على ثقتنا في دور البنك كركيزة أساسية للبنية التحتية الاقتصادية والاجتماعية الحيوية في أفريقيا، كما سيما في دعم الدول منخفضة الدخل والدول الهشة. كما تمثل أفريقيا الحصة الأكبر من النشاط التشغيلي للصندوق الكويتي، فقد استفادت 50 دولة أفريقية بما في ذلك الدول العربية الأفريقية من القروض السيادية الميسرة التي قدمها الصندوق بإجمالي تمويل بلغ حوالي 11 مليار دولار أمريكي، وهو ما يمثل حوالي 52% من إجمالي محفظة قروضنا التنموية. وتتركز هذه العمليات في قطاعات حيوية مثل البنية التحتية والطاقة والمياه والزراعة والصحة والتعليم، وهي المجالات التي يدعم فيها التمويل الميسر طويل الأجل تحقيق نتائج مستدامة بمرور الوقت. وإلى جانب الأغراض واصلنا الاستثمار باستمرار في المنح والمساعدات الفنية، حيث استفادت 37 دولة أفريقية من منح الصندوق الكويتي ومساعداته الفنية بإجمالي التزام بلغ حوالي 62 مليون دولار أمريكي. وتدعم هذه الموارد إعداد المشاريع وتعزيز المؤسسات وبناء القدرات، مما يساعد على ضمان أن تكون الاستثمارات التنموية مصممة بشكل جيد ومستدامة وفعالة. لقد أثبتت تجربتنا في العمل مع مجموعة البنك الأفريقي للتنمية من خلال التمويل المشترك والتمويل الموازي والتنسيق الوثيق أنه عندما تتوافق المؤسسات
When institutions work together, results improve and can work and deliver faster and can have more of an economic and development impact. So we have come together today to also work together in addressing the debt challenges, climate change challenges, and to meet ambitious development objectives. The Kuwait Fund is committed to working with the African Development Bank on priority projects and to support these projects and provide the technical assistance aligned with national priorities. In closing, I would like to reiterate the Kuwaiti Fund's strong determination to work with the African Development Bank and the coordination, the coordination group to support the aspirations of the African governments and populations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was His Excellency Walid Al-Bahar, Acting Director General of the Kuwait Fund for Economic Development. Another big round of applause for him, please. And to just take a minor break to say, when you listen to the speeches that we've had since the beginning, there is a narrative. There is that strong spirit of partnership, of cooperation, of collaboration. And I took time also to look at the various websites of all the ACG members. And you realize something which is very phenomenal. For example, Badea tells you they want to walk the talk together. That's collaboration. When you look at the Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development, it's about integration and consolidating cooperation. Then I moved on to the Arab Gulf Program for Development, and there is a quote that struck me. It said, human being is human being wherever exists. And from Kuwait Fund for Economic Development, we are not just a fund, but a solid bridge of friendship and solidarity between the state of Kuwait and developing nations. So we take a small break here for the video to be played, because sometimes when you're enjoying something, you don't need to eat it all at the same time. Take a break. Let's have the video and then we continue. Thank you. Media, please.
As humanity continues to navigate multifaceted challenges, from ecological and climate threats to persistent man-made conflicts, the call to join efforts and bridge the sustainable development gap has never been greater. For over half a century, the Arab Coordination Group, ACG, has been delivering billions of US dollars in impactful projects where they are needed most, across continents from building climate-resilient farms and advancing transformative agriculture initiatives to launching green energy and water infrastructure developments, to financing transport and healthcare projects, to restoring schools and supporting innovative financing schemes. Through a strategic alliance of 10 national, regional, and international institutions, the ACG has fostered collaboration across the intercontinental development ecosystem, collectively providing over $300 billion US to uplift lives through economic and social development. As one of the largest donor groups combined financial resources, the ACG continues to drive transformative impact across the globe. Promoting a future where communities attain sustainable food security and access climate-resilient agriculture and green infrastructure. A future where everyone, including women and youth, can thrive through quality healthcare, education, and safe housing. A future where communities rise, recover, and rebuild in times of challenges, especially in fragile and conflict-affected states. Our work is anchored in deep country partnerships and built on strong country ownership and South-South cooperation. We work alongside global development co-financiers across the public, private, and philanthropic sectors to share expertise, knowledge, and data, including developing public goods that benefit the entire development ecosystem. At a time of unprecedented and interconnected challenges, we stand with the communities we serve, committed to leveraging our diverse expertise, shared values, and collective purpose. Together, we are determined to shape a more inclusive financial system that reflects the voices, needs, and innovations of the Global South. Together, we are determined to collective action and purpose to build a more sustainable and resilient future for all. Together, we achieve greater impact. Together, we are ACG.
Thank you so much for that very powerful message, ladies and gentlemen. It's now my pleasure to invite to the stage His Excellency Dr. Abdulhamid Al Khalifa, the President of the OPEC Fund for International Development. Welcome, sir. Please.
Well, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. It's my honor and pleasure to be speaking to this group. And let me start by thanking African Development Bank under the leadership of Dr. Sidi Wuldata for this invitation and for the hospitality. Also, I would like to thank the government of Côte d'Ivoire for good hospitality. This is my second time in this country. I visited Abidjan last year, same time. We meet today at a moment when Africa's development challenge is no longer primarily about identifying needs. Those needs are well understood. The real question before us today is whether our institutions are prepared to evolve enough or to evolve fast enough to meet these needs. For many years, development efforts in Africa have been delivered project by project and institution by institution. That approach has delivered progress, but it is increasingly stretched by the complexity of today's challenges. Energy access, food security, climate resilience, and regional integration are not standalone problems. They are interconnected and demand more integrated actions. This is why our discussion today is important, because it offers an opportunity to align more closely around how we deliver. Building on the outcomes of the Arab Coordination Group communique delivered in November 9th of 2023 in Riyadh on the margins of the Arab African Summit hosted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, ACG institutions collectively committed to allocate up to $50 billion, which is a huge amount, to help build resilient infrastructure and inclusive societies across African continent. Our focus now must be on the effective way of implementing these kind of commitments. Africa's future will be shaped by several decisive transitions: reliable and affordable energy that supports productive activities, food systems that move beyond substance toward value creation and jobs, infrastructure that connects markets rather than stops at borders, and development models that mobilize private investment alongside public finance. None of these institutions can be delivered, or none of these transitions can be delivered by a single institution. They depend on partnerships that combine different strengths, instruments, and perspectives. They also depend on development banks being prepared to work together more closely, not only financing but implementing. This is why the OPEC Fund is scaling up its engagement, particularly in Africa. Our objective is not simply to increase our volumes, but to support these transitions in a way that is practical, coordinated, and focused on results. Over the past decade, Côte d'Ivoire has provided a clear illustration of what this approach looks like in practice. Working alongside partners, the OPEC Fund has supported the country across infrastructure, institutional reforms, human capital, and private sector development. This support has been delivered through a balanced mix of public and private sector operations, with total financing almost $700 million. Energy access is a clear example. Without energy, progress in every other sector is constrained. By co-financing 3 major generation projects, we have contributed to the addition of more than 1,100 megawatts of installed capacity in Côte d'Ivoire. This represents a significant share of the country's electricity supply and demonstrates how coordinated public and private financing can strengthen energy security, support economic growth, and attract private investment. Working with partners, including the African Development Bank, the OPEC Fund has committed to provide up to $1 billion, which is scalable to $2 billion in support of Mission 300. The effort to provide energy access to 300 million people across Africa. This reflects a shared understanding that energy access must be addressed at a scale and through coordinated platforms rather than fragmented interventions. Partnerships are equally important. when it comes to supporting the most vulnerable countries. Concessional resources remain essential for many African economies, particularly those facing fragility or climate-related shocks. In this context, the OPEC Fund has committed to deliver $2 billion in co-financing alongside the African Development Fund, building on existing cooperation to support countries where needs are greatest and financing options are limited. In 2024 alone, Arab Coordinating Group institutions collectively provided more than $19.6 billion to finance nearly 650 projects across more than 90 countries around the world, reflecting both the scale of our engagement and our capacity to deliver. This is the shared objective that brings us together today. In closing, the OPEC Fund remains fully committed to deepening its partnership with African Development Bank and with the fellow institutions of the Arab Coordination Group. We stand ready to work together not only to mobilize resources, but to shape the next generation of development solutions in Africa. I am confident that we will get this right and help build the foundation for sustained, resilient, and inclusive growth across the continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Al Khalifa, the president of the OPEC Fund, who yesterday challenged the saying that if you want to go far, go alone. If you're going to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And then he combined the two to say, we need to go far, faster, together. And I think all of us agree with that saying, isn't it? And our next speaker, I was struck by how prominent and deliberate the word partnership is in the organization's vision, and says Saudi Fund for Development seeks to be a comprehensive strategic partner that advances sustainable development of the world's least developed countries. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to invite to the stage the CEO of Saudi Fund for Development, His Excellency Sultan Al Mashad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Your Excellency, the President of the African Development Bank Group, Honorable Minister of the Economy and Planning of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, distinguished members of the Arab Coordination Group, ladies and gentlemen, greetings. And let me say just how pleased I am to be at this meeting between the ACG and the ADB to foster economic development in Africa. Since the creation of our fund in 1974, the Saudi Fund has had a very active partnership with African countries. The first project was financed in 1975 in an African country, and in the last 5 decades, the Saudi Development Fund has financed or contributed to the funding of over 600 projects in 45 African countries for a total amount of over $15 billion, which accounts for over half of our financing for developing countries. And this underscores the preponderant role of Africa in the activities of our fund. Africa is a priority of priorities for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Following the African Saudi summit in Riyadh, His Majesty added 5 billion additional funding covering 23 African countries. At the same summit, the ACG proposed $50 billion for strengthening cooperation for economic development in Africa, which underscores our constant contribution to the development of Africa. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this partnership is key for consolidating cooperation between the fund and the ADB group to improve our cooperation. In April 2024, we signed a cooperation agreement for co-financing a certain number of projects, and even as I speak, we are implementing this project, and this partnership has led to tangible results. Recently, we signed a $60 million loan agreement for Mauritania for electricity interconnection between Mauritania and Mali, and then for photovoltaic connection. We also signed an MOU to strengthen sub-regional and regional cooperation, and also to find sustainable or lasting solutions for the members of our fund for economic development. Our fund deems that we need to have more intense cooperation in terms of financing and seeking solutions to the problems bedeviling Africa, and we are willing and ready to continue to foster cooperation in Africa to attain sustainable results. So allow me once again to thank the ADB Group and His Excellency Dr. Sidi Uttar for having invited us to this high-level consultation, and also to all the members of the ACG. And we hope that we will continue to cooperate going forward for the development of Africa. I thank you for your attention.
A very big thank you there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it again to Sultan Al-Mashar, the CEO of the Saudi Fund for Development. Thank you so much for your remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, the Islamic Development Bank believes that addressing poverty or addressing global challenges such as poverty, inequality, and climate change requires the force of strategic partnerships and collaboration. It's not just partnerships and collaboration, but the force. Let's invite to the stage Dr. Rami Ahmad, Vice President of Operations for the Islamic Development Bank, representing His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Al-Jazar, President of the Islamic Development Bank Group. Welcome.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah.
Peace, in the name of God, most merciful and most benevolent.
Niali Kapa, Minister of Planning Development in Côte d'Ivoire, Your Excellency, Mr. President of the African Development Bank, Excellencies, the heads of the Arab Coordination Group institutions, Excellencies, the management and the board of the African Development Bank and the diplomatic corps, colleagues and participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allow me at the outset to convey the warm greetings and high regards of His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Al-Jasser, President of the Islamic Development Bank, who regrettably was unable to join you today due to a last-minute emergency commitment, and to extend his best wishes for a successful and fruitful meeting. On behalf of His Excellency the President, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the African Development Bank for convening this timely high-level consultation with the Arab Coordination Group, as well as for the warm welcome and the outstanding hospitality extended to all of us. My heartfelt thanks also go to the government of Côte d'Ivoire and the people of Côte d'Ivoire for graciously hosting us in this beautiful city of Abidjan. This extraordinary consultation comes at the pivotal moment. Africa stands at the intersection of profound development challenges and unprecedented opportunities. In this context, enhanced coordination and strategic alignment among development partners are not only desirable, they are indispensable. The Islamic Development Bank takes particular pride in its deep and enduring partnership with Africa. 27 out of our 57 member countries are in Africa. And our engagement extends beyond our membership across the continent. Since its inception, the IDB Group has invested more than $85 billion in 4,000 projects in Africa, with a strong focus on energy, transport, education, health, and agriculture. Sectors that are foundational to inclusive and sustainable growth. Côte d'Ivoire is a solid partner for IDB. Today, it hosts the largest portfolio in sub-Saharan Africa for the Islamic Development Bank. Since 2002, the IDB Group has approved nearly $3.5 billion in financing across infrastructure, human capital, agriculture, and trade, complemented by strong private sector and insurance support. Just last year, Madam Minister, we are proud to have approved 3 projects totaling 500 million euros. This engagement being further deepened under the Member Country Partnership Strategy 2025 to 2029, backed by a $2.7 billion envelope in support of Côte d'Ivoire National Development Plan. We are fully cognizant that the scale and the complexity of Africa's development challenges far exceed the capacity of any single institution. This is why partnership lies at the heart of the IDB's business model. Our collaboration with the African Development Bank dates back to the earliest operations that we had in the 80s. I think the first MOU was signed back in 1987 and was further strengthened throughout the years with the renewal of a 5-year memorandum of understanding. The latest was 2024 to 2029, with a co-financing target of $4 billion. As the President would share with me, we are pleased to note that we have already approved $2.6 billion in joint operation, representing 65% of our target, with 3 more years to go within the time frame of this MOU. Of course, the IDB is very proud to be a founding and active member of the Arab Coordination Group. It's a unique alliance of 10 multilateral and bilateral development finance institutions that has for 5 decades demonstrated the power of collective action. The ACG's 50th anniversary, celebrated in 2025, marked a remarkable legacy of support to critical sectors worldwide, and particularly with the cumulative financing to Africa exceeding $220 billion out of the $300 billion mentioned in the video in the beginning. The Arab Coordination Group in 2023, as mentioned by some of the colleagues, committed to $50 billion to support in the next 5 years to support resilient infrastructure and inclusive growth in Africa. This demonstrates a strong dedication to the region's development. Significant progress has been made in fulfilling this pledge. For instance, the Islamic Development Bank Group has so far provided financing exceeding $12 billion. Beyond serving as a financial commitment, this initiative underscores the need for unified, structured, and outcome-focused investment approaches that move away from isolated efforts and unhealthy competition to moving towards delivering scalable impact. Today's endorsement of the joint declaration represents a decisive step forward. It builds on a proven track record of effective bilateral cooperation between the ACG institutions and the African Development Bank Group, while clearly launching a new phase of strategic alignment and collective ambition. Actually, we owe it to our constituency to really harmonize our efforts as development institutions. This declaration firmly articulates our shared vision for Africa's sustainable and inclusive development and signals our unequivocal commitment to move from intent to delivery. Through our shared resolve and collective action, we can help lay the foundations for durable prosperity, resilience, and inclusive growth across the continent. Together, we can plant the seeds for lasting progress, and we can contribute to a brighter, suitable future for Africa, inshallah. وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We are hearing very powerful words there from Dr. Muhammad Al-Jazair, President of the Islamic Development Bank Group, represented by His Excellency Dr. Rami Ahmad, Vice President of Operations for the Islamic Development Bank. Let's give him another round of applause, please. As he just told us, from intent to delivery. Our next speaker is from the Abu Dhabi Fund for Development. And Abu Dhabi Fund for Development is partnering with more than 30 African countries with one key message: achieving sustainable economic growth. Let's welcome His Excellency Rashid Al-Khabihi, Acting Deputy Director General of Abu Dhabi Fund, representing Director General, His Excellency Mohammed Saif Al-Suwaidi. Welcome.
In the name of God, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, allow me at the outset to extend my warm thanks to the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire for the very warm welcome and the excellent arrangements. Thank you as well to President Sidi Ould Tah, President of the African Development Bank, for this invitation to join our efforts of the Arab Coordination Group with those of the African Development Bank Group. Dear guests, since the inception of the Abu Dhabi Fund for Development, we have invested more than $800 million US dollars to projects in Africa, mostly in infrastructure, energy, water, as well as health care and other projects. And In light of the importance of modern technologies in supporting growth, the Abu Dhabi Fund has launched an initiative focusing on AI for development, artificial intelligence for development across Africa. $1 billion have been earmarked and will be implemented or through the Abu Dhabi Fund for Exports, which operates under the fund. We have also launched a portal, the Abu Dhabi portal, a global water portal, given our belief in the importance of supporting the water sector in developing countries. $2 billion have been U.S. dollars have been will be rather invested in coordination with development institutions and governments in various developing countries to support the water sector in these countries. Once again, and in conclusion, we would like to reiterate the Abu Dhabi Fund for Development's determination to work with regional and continent-wide institutions in support for development. Thank you for your kind attention.
A very big thanks there to His Excellency Rashid Al-Kaabi, Acting Director General for Abu Dhabi Fund for Development, representing the Director General, His Excellency Mohammed Saif Al-Suwaidi. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests, we are witnessing history being written here today, the high-level consultation meeting between the Arab Coordination Group and the African Development Bank today, the 13th of January, 2026, right here in Abidjan, a beautiful city of Abidjan, Abidjan here in Côte d'Ivoire. And we are about to now climb to the apex of today's session with a keynote speech. But before that, let's take a pause and have another video from the African Development Bank Group. So if the media team, you're ready, please play it now.
The weather has been quite tricky. We had a few drought spells. But the seed, being a hybrid seed and climate resistant, has been able to withstand the weather. So we should be able to harvest tomorrow.
This film tells us the success story of two projects being implemented in the northern part of Ghana: Savannah Agricultural Value Chain Development Project and Savannah Investment Program. When I took over this project, commercial farming did not exist. We now can count a number of commercial farmers who are managing a farm above 1,000 hectares, cultivating maize, rice, and soybean.
The project has been very helpful in helping us to understand how to navigate the changing weather systems to get the right yields at the end of the day. What they did was to provide us with land development. If not for that, we would not be able to expand. They provided technical assistance, climate-smart seeds, agrochemicals, and also facilitated markets. Feed millers are the biggest consumers of our maize. Once our yields are high, that will help in stabilizing the whole value chain.
We take in a number of farmers' produce, a number of people keeps on coming. They are bringing in maize for us to buy. And that is what we use to produce this feed. Now we have been able to put up this big feed miller. We have about 4 of them, and each of them is producing 2 tons in an hour. You can imagine what we can do in a day.
I'm a poultry farmer, so we produce broiler on our poultry farm. We started with 100 birds, then we increased to 250 birds per cycle. And then this year, SADC provided 2,000 day-old chicks to us at 50% subsidy, and they also provided a quantity of feed to support with the production. We took them to the poultry farm where we did the brooding. We reared them to 6 to 8 weeks when they reach the market weight. And then we processed into frozen chicken. So we package into parts and we sell it in our chicken store. Receiving 2,000 day-old chicks and feed was like taking our business to a whole new level. It was like getting closer to our big dream.
The local farmers feed our hotels with their locally breeded birds. In the past, a lot of people depended heavily on the imported frozen chicken because a lot of people were not into farming local chicken. In current years, the demand for it is really high.
From the farmer, feed miller, poultry farmer, hotel, restaurants, and individual consumers. It's a virtuous cycle.
All the value chain players or actors. That is very, very key to the success of the business and the sustainability of the industry.
Strengthening linkages along the value chain helps Ghana to feed itself, creates more jobs, improve income, and reduces dependency on imports. This is what making commercial agriculture viable in northern Ghana truly means.
Thank you very much. That's the impact the development creates in such areas as northern Ghana and many others that are outside the cities and urban centers. When you take it to rural areas, that's the kind of impact. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has come for us to welcome our keynote speaker, Honorable Nyale Kaba, Minister for Economy, Planning and Development, and the African Development Bank Group's Governor for the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, our host country. Welcome.
Monsieur le Président,
Mr. President of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Sidi Uttah, distinguished heads of the member institutions of the Arab Coordination Group, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished representatives of the private sector and technical and financial partners, distinguished guests, all protocol respected. It is indeed a pleasure for me to take the floor at this opening ceremony of the high-level consultation meeting between the Arab Coordination Group and the African Development Bank Group. I would, on behalf of His Excellency, Mr. Alassane Ouattara, President of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, on behalf of the government and people of Cote d'Ivoire, and on my own personal behalf, wish you Akwaba, which is welcome to Abidjan in hospitable Côte d'Ivoire. As we start this new year, 2026, let me sincerely wish you all perfect health, prosperity, and success. I would like to commend and congratulate the president of the ADB group, Dr. Sidi Uta, on this lofty initiative, which for the very first time brings together on African soil the heads of the institutions of the ACG, the ADB, and public and private partners with a view to building a structured and ambitious partnership aligned with the development priorities of our continent. Let me also express my gratitude to all the distinguished personalities that have accepted to travel to Abidjan to honor with their distinguished presence this strategic high-level meeting. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the event we are having today is exceptionally important. It is a historical milestone in the cooperation between the Arab Coordination Group and the African Development Bank Group, marked by strengthened solidarity and mutual commitment for significant financing of development in Africa, our continent. Indeed, this high-level consultation is an opportunity to strengthen synergies between the African Development Bank Group and the ACG with a view to increasing the impact, consistency, and effectiveness of their respective operations. It translates the shared determination to build a structured partnership at the service of economic and social transformation of our continent. Also, this meeting underscores the clear acknowledgement of Africa's growing role in the new economic and financial architecture through its ability to conceive and implement ambitious solutions that are coordinated and sustainable with a view to accelerating its development. Mr. President Sidi Uta, let me congratulate you once again on the new strategic orientation you have given to our Pan-African institution, the African Development Bank. Through this meeting, which you have organized, you have shown that the new African financial architecture is not just a concept, but it is becoming a reality and one that can produce tangible results for the benefit of the people of Africa. The deployment of a renewed strategy hinging on the 4 cardinal points shows your clear determination to do more and to do better without ever losing sight the empowerment of the youth, which is the future of our continent. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, the choice of Abidjan to host this consultation mission is not by chance. It is testimony to the depth of cooperation of Côte d'Ivoire with Arab financial institutions and the ADB. Indeed, since the creation of the ADB in 1964, the KDB has been part of its development and has been constantly contributing to its growth. Through its innovative and transformative projects, while strengthening its catalytic capacity for private sector investment, the bank is moving forward. We are proud of this institution that is constantly transforming, increasingly nimble, and constantly in quest for solutions commensurate with our development needs. Concerning the development of Côte d'Ivoire, the outstanding performances we have recorded under outstanding performances have been recorded under the leadership of His Excellency President Alassane Ouattara. The structural transformation of our country through the national development plans that have been implemented successively since 2012 should be accelerated with the implementation of the 2026-2030 National Development Plan. With this in mind, the constant support of the ACG was a major strategic lever, particularly in the infrastructure, energy, agriculture, and human development sectors. As an example, and very recently, the project for the Cocody Bay, which was fully financed by a consortium of Arab donors, mobilized over $400 million to clean and develop the Ebriye Lagoon as part of an emblematic partnership. Also, the commitment of our Arab partners is seen through high social impact projects like the building of 7,500 low-cost housing that will significantly contribute to improving the living conditions of the people of Côte d'Ivoire. Ladies and gentlemen, this strategic meeting is first and foremost a shared vision of development based on solidarity, mutual trust, and the constant quest for innovative solutions for the well-being of our people. Côte d'Ivoire is honored by the Jubilee, honoring the Jubilee exhibition, and it will be the opportunity to develop the extent of our achievements, the challenges we have overcome with time, while also asserting the constant commitment of the Arab Coordination Group for the economic development of our country. Before I wrap up, let me express the wish that your deliberations are rich, constructive, and lead to structuring decisions, and that your conclusions will lead to a new era of excellence and innovation in cooperation between Africa and Arab financial institutions. On this note of hope, and while wishing you a very pleasant stay in Côte d'Ivoire, allow me to declare open the high-level consultation meeting between the Arab Coordination Group and the African Development Bank. I thank you for your kind attention.
No, thank you so much, and let's give another round of applause to our keynote speaker, please. Thank you so much. So the next stage is a very important stage, as we said. This is the time we are going now to announce the joint declaration between the Arab Coordination Group and the African Development Bank Group. And we're going to do it in this manner. And perhaps before I say that, once we finish with the announcing of the declaration, there'll be a photo to be taken on stage. But after that, the heads of the SCG group, together with the president of the African Development Bank and the minister, they will be led out by the protocol team to go and take a family photo in a very well set up place. And after that, they'll be guided through an exhibition by Sahal Al-Marwar, the head of SCG Communications Committee. He will guide them through an exhibition about the history, evolution, and impact of the Arab Coordination Group. It will be in that orderly manner. So it's now time to announce the declaration, and may I invite on stage, in this order, first of all, the President of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Sidi Olta, to join. If you can come this way, sir, so that you can receive a copy of the declaration. Thank you. Followed by His Excellency Abdallah Al-Musabi from Badea, followed by His Excellency Fawuz Youssef Al-Hunayf from Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development. Let's escort them with a round of applause, please. His Excellency Hammam bin Nasser bin Juraidi, Arab Gulf Program for Development. His Excellency Walid Al-Bahar, Director General, Kuwait Fund for Economic Development, Acting Director General. His Excellency Dr. Abdul Hamid Al Khalifa from OPEC Fund. His Excellency Sultan Al Mashad, CEO of Saudi Fund for Development. His Excellency Dr. Rami Ahmad, Vice President of Operations for the Islamic Development Bank. And His Excellency Rashid Al Kabi, Acting Director General of the Abu Dhabi Fund. Please, if you can join on the stage. And after that, we'll go to the family photo. Thank you. Protocol team, please, you can now lead our chief guest to the family photo. You'll use that to exit. Yes, thank you so much. The protocol team are going to lead you. And after that, we have an exhibition. You are all invited to the exhibition. You'll be guided there by Sahal Al-Marwar. And after that, we have got media engagement. And colleagues Grace and Ephraim and Shanti, together with Yolan, will be coming to our guests for interviews. Thank you so much.